Hi, this is Lynn Royer, and I am a graduate student for Central Methodist University. And this is part of a project for my Engaged Learner course. So, what I'm going to share with you, my research topic and question was, how do I engage in adult learners online to help with meeting my objectives? So what I'm going to show you, or what I'm going to attempt to show you, is this is kind of a screenshot of a Collaborate session that I do once a week with my students. And I've made the screen a little smaller in an attempt for you to not be able to see students' names and that sort of thing. And I'll do my best so that you're not able to see that to protect the privacy of my students. But I wanted you to have an opportunity to hear some of the dialogue and the conversation and what takes place in one of those sessions in order to engage my students. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope this all records properly. Information regarding hearing loss. So that is actually where the forms that I pulled for you as far as an audiogram review. So I want to make sure that most of you have that. I was not able to, Brian, I hope it doesn't have to do with your internet connection, since your weather is not cooperating with you the best. If anyone else is not able to hear me, please let me know. A question I have is just a comment. I just put a little blurb in the questions for the instructor discussion one, and it was about using, like, when you're talking about a person, putting the person before the disorder, so if everybody can just kind of check. Okay, great. Thank you very much. That out at some point. I think it would help everybody, and this would be some useful information. You bet. Okay, so again, I'm hoping that everyone received the DHI, the audiogram review. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my best to hop over to their website here in just a second so we can pull that information up. Because I wasn't able to actually load it into our whiteboard tonight. I kind of fought with it several times and wasn't able to pull that information in. So I'm going to hop over in just a minute and get that website address, and we're going to pull it up just so we can. I've got a lot of questions regarding the basics of an audiogram, so we're just going to cover that quickly. I know some of you are familiar with an audiogram. However, some of you are not. So I just want to go over the basics of that so that we at least have some general information. And again, I want each of you to remember that the audiogram interpretation, the group study assignment, was just a matter of allowing us to get our feet wet. I don't expect anyone in the class to be able to just pick up an audiogram and be able to do a full interpretation yet. So don't be too hard on yourselves and feeling that you need to be able to do that, because really this was just, again, just to get our feet wet. So give me just a second, and I'm going to try to pull that audiogram up just so we can take a look at it, okay? And actually, there's one other slide I think I'll pull up first, because difficult, but again, it's just to get us all accustomed to starting to review that information and really understanding what we're looking at. And all of the forms were emailed last week, end of last week, so that everyone would have them ahead of time. Okay, so hopefully everyone's able to see my screen okay. And basically what we've gone to is we've gone to an audiology awareness website on how to read an audiogram. So I have underneath resources in the 110 course, I've actually provided this website address. You can visit it anytime. And this will just give us, give you some basics as well as us. We'll be able to pull up
hearing dysfunction, and they had put a cochlear implant in, and when they turned on the cochlear implant, he started smiling and laughing and trying to talk to his mother. It was really an awesome moment.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
It's just awesome. I couldn't believe it.
That is great. Oh, and it looks like Brian put in the chat box about his clinics. They're wanting to extend an invitation if anyone wants to shadow their hearing specialist, which I think would be a great opportunity. Yes, and Brian is in the St. Louis area. And Brian, I believe you have one clinic in Farmington as well. Is that correct? So for anyone in the St. Louis area, that would be a great opportunity for you, I'm sure.
I'm hoping that if I can do that way after love, that does sound like a really big thing to do. And the people have got so much time.
Okay, you were just cutting out really bad. Yes, that is a little bit better.
My notes on the screen is attached to the listen, so I was saying that I think I'd like to go to that Brian's facility. I think that sounds really neat.
Yeah.
And my keyboard just went out, so I'll have to talk.
Okay. Yeah, you were cutting out there. It might be the internet connection too with the weather. Okay. Thank you, Brian, for sharing that. So hopefully some opportunity to meet potential future very educational. I always walk away learning a lot. Yes, I will be at all of these Springfield. I attend all of the lab sessions. So I will be with you all for labs. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take us to the case studies. And who would like to talk about their case study for us? Do I have any volunteers? It doesn't have to be real formal. I just want you to talk about which case study you did and how you arrived at your conclusion. Do I have any volunteers? Okay, so Tanya, you'll volunteer.
I'm going to go before my internet cuts out.
Okay.
Sure. What do you want to know?
Thank you. Which case study did you have number one?
It was case number 1.
Okay, great.
Yep.
All right. So the history, I'll go ahead and just read it real quick. So you have a 26-year-old female with a complaint of diminished hearing for several years and seems to be getting worse. Her mother has told her that she experienced ear infections as a small child, but the patient herself has no memory of this. She has increased difficulty hearing while chewing, but seems, to her surprise, to understand speech better in a noisy background than in quiet places. The patient has 2 older sisters with hearing losses that began in early adulthood. One wears hearing aids successfully and the other was helped by surgery, the nature of which the patient does not know. She, along with members of her family, has a bluish cast to the whites of her eyes. Given the case history and clinical findings, make your diagnosis. Okay, so go ahead and just tell us what you arrived at and how you arrived at that.
We picked otosclerosis, and one of the really big ones was the bluish cast to her eyes because it goes along with people with bone disease, and so that would go along with otosclerosis.
Okay.
It's also genetic and occurs in younger females from about puberty to young adulthood. It's progressive. There's pretty much everything that's
Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and I'll click into the audiogram. Okay. All right.
okay.
So here's the audiogram. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about that, and then if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer them.
So I'm hoping that this, although it was 13 minutes long, I sincerely apologize. I'm hoping that you have some sort of idea of how I'm able to connect with my students who range anywhere from Kansas City to St. Louis to Springfield. I also have a student in Iowa, Illinois, and Ohio. So just to give you an idea of how we're able to connect, and again, I did not show you the participants page as well as the chat page. We had about 20 students online for this particular session. I have 47 in my class, and they're all always talking and chatting and having dialogue in the chat box as well for those who are shyer. They are getting better about using their mics when we get together online, and we really do have class. A lot use their webcams as well as I do, and we really do have class even though we're not together. So I hope this gives you an idea of the ideal way that I have found in order to engage my students in my classes. Thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.